Welcome to the Advertising Forum, the arrival of AI, sponsored by MiQ.
Today we have Charlie Neer, the co-chief executive officer of MiQ, to dig into what AI means for the advertising industry. Charlie, excited to have you here. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you guys for having me. Long-time listener, obviously, and long-time subscriber to the forum and everything you guys do.
I'd love to hear it. We've been fans of MiQ for quite some time also.
Your team's great.
Charlie, earlier this summer, MiQ launched Sigma. It's your proprietary AI-powered unified platform. Can you set the context as to why MiQ felt the need to build this platform and what challenges you feel Sigma will overcome for the industry?
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, MiQ traditionally has been unabashedly and will always be, and say it to everybody, a managed services company. And I think a lot of companies steer away from that. But when you take off our Scooby-Doo mask, I think those who know us best understand that underneath there is a large amount of technology. So launching Sigma was really a continuation of that strategy. It was elements of tools that we had built using other types of machine learning or AI previously, kind of housing all of the products into one interface, and then thinking of neat ways to communicate with that to deliver client outcomes. And so really the need came because we'd built so many disparate solutions for so many clients across so many different tactics, channels, DSPs, SSPs, et cetera, that we needed a place to centralize first for our people and then for our clients in the future.
When you talk about specific advancements at Sigma and what that integration that MiQ brings to your client set, what's the type of value that they're seeing? What are your clients seeing from this new platform, and how does it benefit them overall?
Yeah, not to go into too much context about what MiQ does, but it's relevant here. Like we sit across 13, 14 DSPs globally, like anything from like iPinU in China to the Trade Desk in the US. So a disparate number of platforms, huge number of data sets, 300 plus data feeds, retail data, TV data, ACR, linear, whatever it might be. And a lot of our clients, one, have a financial barrier to access a lot of that data for insights and things like that. Because a little known fact about MiQ is a large portion of our business is independent agencies. You know, everyone knows we work with holding companies and everybody knows we work with brands direct, but not very many people know we represent a lot of companies who can't go out or don't want to go out and operationalize or purchase data in a big way. So first of all, being able to surface that in a user-friendly interface that's intuitive based on everything that's going on in the world with AI is a huge advantage. So first of all, they're already seeing value, a large portion of our client segment, just from the ease of access to insight and intelligence that we might be able to provide to them. And then on the holding company side, what we've already seen is some early movers are starting to integrate both their data and, you know, bringing that data into an environment where we can feed and produce new things. And that's a really valuable thing. And then the biggest value I'll have to say is, as a managed service company, we execute campaigns on behalf of advertisers. So when we do that, we have trading agent. We wanted to call it Chat DSP. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on podcasts, but I don't care. It's close to things. You're allowed to say the things. I thought it was a cool name. We went with trading agent, but it allows our traders to basically talk to a large language model that sits on top of a decisioning engine and make real-time adjustments to client campaigns. So better outcomes for our team and thus our clients, better integrations with existing insight stacks from holding companies, and more access and operationalization for our independent agency clients.
From all those that you listed, is there one particular feature that Sigma has that you felt like to you and to the executive team was a game changer in your mind that really kind of moved the needle forward?
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Someone on a podcast once described MiQ as a pirate ship of individuals or a pirate ship of geniuses. Everybody has like different opinions and like, you know, we all just kind of like roam around and go by our own code. So everybody has a different favorite feature. For me, that there are two that really stand out. It would be our commerce intelligence platform. So you're able to tell any purchase at any retailer where data is available, what product was purchased in what quantity, what DMA, and then overlay it with TV data or exposure data to check, frequency distribution inside that particular DMA where you might be getting beat out by a competitor product. Love that. Mainly because it helps us sell. It's like you go in there, you go into a room with an opinion instead of just like an empty binder and just be another person. It's like, I know this about your brand and we've never run a dollar. That's really impressive. That's probably the first one. And then to geek out, like I really love Trader Agent. I would say the Trader Agent for me is amazing because it allows idiots like me to trade very complex DSP campaigns, let alone when you put it in the hands of a really talented trader, which MiQ in the US, I think we're up to like 111 traders in the US. So we have all of our traders interacting with our Trader Agent, and it provides a robust recommendation engine on the backs of change logs, optimization logs over the last 15, 16 years. So that was really exciting. My personal favorite, though, is commerce intelligence.
So it's interesting hearing you talk about the trading agent, commerce intelligence, and just the fragmentation that's taking place in our ecosystem that we're all aware of. But I'm also hearing that MiQ's chief purpose for building Sigma was just that, to battle the fragmentation in our industry. It's a shared battle cry from everyone, regardless of where we sit on the marketing spectrum. Charlie, how do you ensure that the rapid growth of AI and the AI tools don't cause an even larger layer of fragmentation?
Yeah. Again, like I think the answer is a really good question. I wish I would have read it before the podcast. I would just say that from my perspective, like the proliferation and fragmentation of our industry has been going on since all of us have worked in it. Like it's actually a slide I drew up on a whiteboard one time. It was like when we all started, there were like 2 publishers. Everyone wanted their ads on the AOL chat messenger to get last view conversion. Like that's how old I am. Like I always like to ask people their first AOL screen name, and like seeing the proliferation and the fragmentation of our industry. That's nothing new. And frankly, MiQ solving for that is nothing new. We've never been a DSP. We've never been an SSP. We've never been a data owner. Like that's important to our strategy. We think being one of those companies is great, and we depend on those companies. However, we think having, for a brand or for an agency, having a fixed tech stack is like being fixed leg on a boat. And like, that boat is on the choppiest industry potentially in the world. And I think that when you consider how do you battle that fragmentation, the answer is we're not the smartest people in the industry, but we do like to connect everybody. And we like everybody to be able to work. So what is the antidote to fragmentation and proliferation? It's interoperability and extensibility. So for us, we have always solved for that. We've always said we're an agnostic player. We have always said we will do what's best by the advertiser. We have always said we will not be a DSP. We've always said we'll not be an SSP, data owner, et cetera. But what we have always said is we will build a layer, whether that is through a services business or now through Sigma, as services across that spectrum of partners and players. And I think for us, continuing to do that helps to continue to centralize fragmentation. And I honestly think that fragmentation is why MiQ's, we've grown considerably, I think, in the past decade. We used to be very unknown, and I think we took a back seat a lot. And I think with Sigma, we're getting more in the driver's seat because I think more people agree that an agnostic and multi-channel, multimodal approach to the industry is what's needed. And we wanted to build Sigma on top of that and to deliver on that promise.
So let's head on 2 different elements. One, I refuse to share my high school / junior high screen name on AOL. Different story for a different time. Number 1. Number 2, more importantly, you had talked about the interoperability. You talked about how I hear it and how I've seen MiQ. You work with everybody. You're basically a Switzerland within the space where you're doing what's best for your clients, for the end all be all marketers, and for the agencies that are using the platform. Let's talk about the actual human element of AI. the adoption of AI, it requires tremendous cultural shifts, workflow changes, and in many cases, changes to marketing roles. How are your teams, as co-CEO, how are your teams adapting to this tidal wave taking over our ecosystem right now?
Yeah. First of all, my AOL screen name, Jeremy. And we're going to get it out of you in this podcast. I think it's okay, man. It's, safe space.
Yeah.
You're here with two people.
I got kicked off for a year.
Was Iron Viking 007. And that is very embarrassing to know. That might go out to everyone in the industry. And I hope to God there's not like an AOL time machine site. If there is, please edit this out where people can go back and see all of your chat conversations on AOL. But yeah, Iron Viking 007, and please take the next 2 minutes to get your courage up to share yours. So back to your question.
My courage is always there. Don't worry.
Back to your question about like the human element. I think a lot of people in the industry talk about AI and HI. Everyone says AI plus HI. We even did that. We had the human hand and the robot hand slide. Everyone's got that. Yeah. It's a classic. It's an industry hit now. Yeah. But for me, I started thinking about what that means. Like, I think all of us are on a different moment of our like AI dread cycle, as I call it. Like, how do humans genuinely fit into this picture? And I think philosophically, you can think about agents or tools and business opportunities, like all these frameworks. But philosophically, for me, the HI in that equation, it doesn't mean human intelligence. I do think there's a place for that. But I really think that I kind of has like multiple meanings in this. It's like human ingenuity, human innovation, and frankly, human imagination. Like, I think those I's are more important. So everything we have designed inside Sigma is to allow our people to focus more on that and less on the artificial intelligence or like automated intelligence or machine learning and things like that. I think that is so important to like the human spirit that actually it means that the humans are more important because we're focusing on our superpower, which is to be the rider of the bike and not the bike itself. There's a really interesting like 1 minute video from Steve Jobs where they did this huge study about like the efficiency of animals per kilocalorie. And the condor was like by far the most efficient animal in the world. But some super genius decided to test what a human on a bicycle looks like. And I think that was the design of us building our AI tool, was not to replace our human, like replace all the people that we do, is to give them the bicycle to be far the most efficient people in the industry, to be the best people. So that's sort of the first piece. And then really briefly, the second piece is we've trained and given our team a host of internal tools of AI and basically have them using that to make their day-to-day operations smoother and better. So, how are they adapting to this? Amazingly, like frankly, like way better. And I think it's been a level of comfort in how we've approached it as a team. We've been really open. This is why. And I think every leader has to do that now. There's an element of comforting your team. A couple of our advisors, a couple of people in the industry came up to me in France and said, you guys are the perfect size. Any bigger, AI is a threat. Any smaller, AI is a threat. And it's just like kind of like a little bit of the Goldilocks, like on company size. I think if you work at a bigger company, that's something you might be feeling. If you work at a smaller company, maybe you're worried about being, displaced. But I think we kind of have the Goldilocks size right now.
Well, you guys are crushing it. You've given our team, Ari has seen Sigma firsthand. We're excited about what you're building. You guys have a great culture around the space. We just want to thank you specifically, Charlie, and your team for hopping on the advertising forum, for being the serious sponsor of the arrival of AI. I also appreciated the HI component because human intelligence is so important long term. So thank you, Charlie. Thank you, MiQ. Thank you, ATG. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.